Hi guys, so in this video I'm going to go over the WordPress dashboard, how to log in, what each of these tabs mean, what you can expect to find in each tab, and just make any changes that you need to kind of view the dashboard a little bit easier. So the WordPress dashboard is the very first screen which you'll see when you first log in. This dashboard over here gives a basic overview of your site, and as you add different plugins and different themes, you'll notice more and more things get added to it. So for example, if you have a Gravity Forms plugin, you'll see a little form box come in here, so that gives you an overview of all the forms that you have on your website, things like that. And this dashboard here is fully editable, so what you can do is go into screen options, and if you decide there's certain things that you don't need, so for example the WordPress events and news, if you don't look at that and you think you don't need it, you can just uncheck that, and that removes it from your screen options. You want to make this area sort of clutter-free and easy to kind of read over when you first log in. So a good thing to do would be to remove anything that you think you won't need. Same thing, you can go in and add anything that you think you do need and things like that. You also have the option to kind of drag things around. So if I click on this here and drag it over there, it'll move there permanently and just save automatically. And you can push things up, push things down, and kind of organize this in the way that you think would most benefit you. The next tab then is the Updates tab, and this is an overview of all the plugins and themes that you have that need updating, and also the WordPress core in general. This is where you'll find what version of WordPress you're currently running, and it'll also tell you what plugins are needing to update, what themes are needing to update, and things like that. Then you have your posts, and this is where you'll have all the posts on your website stored, and also the posts that aren't currently on your website. So if they're saved as a draft or if they're private, they're also stored here. So if you go into posts, they'll all be here, and you can search between them. If you have quite a few posts, for example, over like 60 or 100, there'll be a sort of pagination that you can go page by page. Another thing you can do with the post section is if you have, say, over 100 posts and you want to view more than 50 at a time, by default, WordPress will only show you 20 at a time. So you just want to go into screen options, and where it says number of items per page, you just want to increase that or decrease that to an amount that you think would be helpful. Within that, you can also take out any columns that you think that you might not need. So for example, if you uncheck the comments checkbox, the comments column just kind of removes itself. The tags, categories, if you think that it's too much clutter on your website, and on the dashboard, then you can just remove those. These aren't removing the columns like permanently from the post, they're just removing it from the dashboard. You can still see the comments and categories if you were to click into the post. They're still there on the back end. This is just mainly for the overview of the dashboard. Sometimes you might find there's a lot of columns and the information becomes unreadable. So this is a useful tool to have, just so that you can remove some of the columns and view everything really easily. Within the post tabs, you have different buttons. So within the add new, it'll just automatically add a new post, and it'll open a blank version of a back end of the post, and you can go in and start adding in the post details. You can add your titles, add any categories, tags, your featured image, and then schedule as you need to. The next tab then is the categories tab, and this is like a bulk way of adding different categories. So for example, if I wanted to add a category here, I'll just add the name of the category. I can keep the slug blank, and it'll just take the name of the category as the slug, and you can give it a description. And the description is mainly for back-end use. It isn't typically shown on the front end. It's just so you know a brief about what this category is and what kind of posts people will find within it. And then another thing you can do is add a parent category. So I'll just add this one here. And if I wanted to add a category within that, I would just select the parent category here, and then just click add new category. And now that category is a subcategory of the marketing one that we've just created before. And the tags one is the same. So it's You can add different tags, and it's the same kind of method as the categories. You would just click into categories, and then add the different tags that you want. You just need to add the name, and then the slug will kind of automatically generate depending on the name that you've added. And you can also add a description as well. Within the post, then once you have different categories and tags added, you'll notice there's like a filter function. So you can filter between different categories. This is useful if you have loads of posts and you just want to see posts within a certain category. You can just go into all categories and choose the category that you want to filter and just click filter. And it'll show all the posts that have that category attached. You can also filter within dates. So these are dates published basically. And you would just select the date and the month and year that you want to view the posts for. Another thing you can do is bulk action some of these. So if you have a few posts that you realize that you want to delete, you would just select by the checkbox which post that you want to delete, and then under bulk actions, just do move to bin and then hit apply. And you can see one post move to the bin, and you'll see now that you have a new tab that says bin, and if I click on that, you'll see the old one there. And if you want, you can restore it, or you can just delete it permanently. We'll just restore it for now, and that'll move the post from the bin. And you can see once it's been moved from the bin, it doesn't automatically publish it. It actually publishes it. It keeps it as a draft, and then you would need to go in and publish just here. Another thing you can do is bulk edit some items. So in terms of editing, you won't be able to edit a lot of things in terms of like the content or the page, but you can bulk add things to categories or tags. So for example, if I were to select these two, go into bulk actions and click edit, you'll be able to see what I'm editing and add any categories that I want to add. So for example, if I want to add these all to marketing, and then add any tags that I want to add. And then I can make changes to any authors. I can make changes to whether or not I want to allow comments or not. I can make changes to status, make it published or private. I can make these changes to both of these at the same time, and then just click update. And now you can see these two are now updated with the new tags and the new categories. So next, moving on, is the media library. So the media library is where all of the images, audios, videos, PDFs, different files that you upload to your website, it'll be uploaded here. When you're adding things to pages, when you're adding things to posts, it'll automatically get added to the media library, or you can add new images to the media library yourself and then have that ready for when you're uploading to post or onto a page. So to add a new image or to add a new file to the media library, what you want to do is click into the media library and then click add new. And then you can either drag and drop the files over here, or you can click select files. And it'll open up your file explorer, and you can pick an image from your computer, click open, and it'll upload immediately to the media library. Within the media library, you can click on an image and add any alternative text, add any captions and descriptions. And this is really good for SEO, especially the alternative text. It's good for Google to understand what kind of image this is, and it's also good for screen readers. And by default, it'll create a file URL. So if you ever need that, you just need to come into the media library and select the file URL from there. Within the media library, you can also edit any images. So if I click on an image and then click edit image, it'll open different options that I can do in terms of I can rotate, I can flip things vertically, I can crop images if I need to, I can scale them. So for example, if I were to crop this image here, and then click crop, save. I don't have to worry about doing that beforehand and uploading it. I can just upload it and edit the image here. Next thing then is the pages, and these work like the posts. So all the pages on your website, including the ones that are just draft or private, they'll all be stored here. So if you're ever looking for a page, you can come in here and either search for a page, or if you know the name of the page, you can search for it, or you can just scroll through. And just like in posts, under screen options, if you can change the column details, so you can remove some of the columns that you think you don't need and just make it less clutter. And you can change the number of items per page. So if you do have a lot of pages, you can just change the number of items and be able to scroll through a lot easier. With the pages, you can also bulk remove pages. So if I select a few pages and click move to bin, I can just hit that apply, and then in the bin you can see I've removed all 3 pages. Same if I want to restore them, I can just bulk select all of them and then go back to have it back in the all pages section and move from the bin. Same thing with the posts, I can also bulk edit them. So if I take the ones that have just been moved to the bin and are under now draft, I can just click edit, click apply, and change the status like this, and change anything else as well. So in terms of the pages, I can change the parent page, I can change the author, and whether or not I want the pages to allow comments. And then I just hit update, and those pages are now done. The next tab then is the comments section. So any comments that are on your website, either if they're on the blogs or if they're on certain pages, they will be stored in the comment section. And depending on how you have your settings, you can either, if you need to approve the comments first, you can come in here and approve the comments, either by unapproving by the option here, unapprove, or reply to a comment, or you can bin comments. All your comments can basically be managed through the comments section. Next thing then is the appearance, and this is the themes. So the theme that you're using on your website, it'll be shown here. And with WordPress, you can only have one theme, and within that theme, you can have a child theme to help you make any edits and not lose any of the styling every time you make an update. If you have any extra themes that aren't being in use, it's best practice to remove them. And within the appearance, you have a customize option, and what you can customize varies from theme to theme. But you typically, within the customize option, you have the option to change the site identity. So this is where you'd add the tagline, a site icon, the logo, and the title. You can also choose the menu, and you can also create different menus and your homepage settings, which will be set up as a static page, or you can set it up as the latest posts, and you can also add any additional CSS. Again, so this section would vary between different themes, but that's typically what you would get. So if I were to come out here, and under themes, if I go into menus, this is where I can edit the main menus on my site, and you can have as many menus as you want, and they can be applied to different sections of your site. So for example, we just have this one menu here, which is the main menu, and that's just attached to the header. And if I want to make any changes to that, I would just go in, select the menu that I want, and make all the changes. So for example, if I want to move the contact us down to the end, I can just click and drag it onto the bottom. If I want to bring the sample pages as a drop down to the services, I would just click that and move it to the right of the services, or I can just move it back to the left and it's its own page now. So I can make changes like this. If I wanted to add an external link, for example, or a different link that's not on the website, what I can do is go into custom links and just paste in the link that I want and create my own link text. So this is what users will see whenever they first click, and then go into add menu, and that's a new menu item. And when people click on that, I can they'll be taken to the link that I've pasted in. If I want to make a link external, what I need to do is scroll up to screen options and select link target as an advanced menu property. And now when I come into custom link, save first. And now when I come into custom link, I have the new checkbox that says open link in a new tab. This will then open the link in a new tab, and that way users have a way to come back to your website if they were to go on an external link. I can also remove links as well and just save menu like that. Moving on to plugins. So this is where all the plugins, any extra plugins that I have on my site is where I'll be able to find it. And I can see which plugins are active, which are inactive, which ones would need updating. It'll all be stored here. As best practice would be if you have a lot of plugins that aren't active, it's best just to remove them and to always keep your plugins updated. To add a new plugin, I'll just click Add New, and I can either upload a plugin from my computer by just clicking Upload Plugin and choose the plugin file, or I can search for a plugin. So for example, if I wanted to add WooCommerce, I would just type in the WooCommerce and look for the WooCommerce plugin. And then just click Install Now, wait for that to install, and then click Activate. And then once it's activated, it'll take me to the WooCommerce dashboard. When it comes to adding different plugins, you want to make sure the plugins you're adding have good reviews, so you know they're from a reputable source. And it would be good to find one that has been around for a while, so you know there have been many updates, and it's one that people tend to use. Then if you go into users, this is where you can manage all the users that have access to your account. This includes any admins, any customers, any subscribers. They'll all be added here. So right now you have 2 admins. If you wanted to change the password for someone's account, you would just go into the user that you want to change the password for. Go in and either you can send them a password reset link, so they'll be sent an email asking to set their own password, or you can set a new password for them. It'll automatically generate a password, or you can just use your own, and you can either use the password gauge to kind of pick a strong password, or you can confirm the use of a weak password. To add a new user, you just click Add New. And to create a new user, the minimum that you'd need is a username and an email. And these can be the same. You can use their email as a username. And then you can add their first name, last name, and this will kind of be a bit more personal to them if they want to have their name up here. So you would just type in the email here. And then you can either generate a password for them, or if you have the send user notification enabled, they'll get an email saying that their account has been created and they would set their own password. And then you can also set them a role. So different roles have different capabilities. So for example, an admin has access to everything, including they can make any changes to plugins, they can add plugins, they can make changes to the themes, things like that, and they'll be able to remove and add access to users and things like that. You want to make sure that whoever you add as an admin, that you're not adding too many admins, and that you're not giving anyone more access than they need. Editors, the editor has access to all posts, pages, comments, categories. They can create, publish, and edit, delete any posts or images or any pages, but they won't be able to have the same amount of rights as admins, and they won't be able to create any more admins or invite any users and things like that. Authors has less rights than an editor, and they can only write posts, upload pictures, edit, and publish their own posts. A contributor can write and edit their posts until published, and then they can create their own posts and page, but they can't publish them. They can't upload any images or files, but they can see your site status. And when they want to publish something, it has to be approved by an administrator or an editor. And then once the post is approved, the contributor can't make any changes once it's published. Then you have subscriber, who are people that can read and comment on posts, and customer and shop manager are options for the WooCommerce ones. So a customer can go in and look at their order information, and Shop Managers has access to the back end of WooCommerce, but they won't have access to anything else in terms of posts or media and things like that. So what you want to do is make sure that people only get the access that they need, and then select the role and then click Add New User. Last thing I'm going to go over is the settings. So you have general, writing, reading, discussion, any media settings, and permalinks and things like that. So under the general settings, you can pick the site title. You can also do this in the customizer as well, site title and tagline. Things like the WordPress URL and site address can be changed from the WordPress dashboard. An admin email address. So this is used for admin purposes. If your site were to go down or if there's any issues on the site, WordPress will notify the admin email address in this. And what you would need to do if you want to change that, you would just add the new email address here, and the new email address will then get sent an email asking to confirm, and it doesn't get changed until the new email has confirmed. You can set the site language, and the time zone as well. So you should set this relative to yourself. You can set the date format here, and this is the format that'll show on the blogs and things like that. Time format also shown here, and you can do for both the date and the time format. You can do a custom format if the ones that are provided aren't what you need, and you can change the date the week starts on. And these all affect the kind of posts that you publish and any pages as well. Another important thing that you might want to look over is the discussion settings. So these are things like comments. So it's to put limitations on people commenting on things. So for example, default post settings is to attempt to notify any blogs linked to the post, and these will notify blogs and also the email address, the site admin. You can allow people to submit comments on new posts. But obviously this one, it can be overridden for individual posts. So this is whether or not you want people to submit comments. With other comment settings, you have different limitations. So comment author must fill out name and an email. If you don't want people to do that, you just uncheck that. If you want people to be registered in order to log a comment, you would need to check that. If you're okay with people not logging in, then you would just uncheck that. You can close comments on posts older than 14 days. So if you have a post that's kind of old and you don't want people commenting on it, you can set a number of days that you want as a limit and then select that. You can allow nested comments. You can break comments into pages and things like that. And then you have the option to email the site admin anytime someone posts a comment or if a comment is held for moderation. And then before a comment appears, you can have control over whether you want to approve it first or if you want people to be able to freely update. And last thing then is the login attempts. So if you want to have a bit more security over the site, you can limit some login attempts. So by default, people are allowed to try and log in 4 times. If they enter their user details incorrectly 4 times, they'll be locked out for a total of 20 minutes. And after 4 times, and if they've been locked out 4 times, the lockout time goes to 24 hours, and it takes another 12 hours for it to be reset. So if you want to change the times out here, the lockout times, you go into limit login attempts and change the lockout settings over here. So that's the basic kind of overview of the WordPress dashboard, the important things to do with like your themes and your plugins and the basic tools and settings that you have, and how you can use the sort of dashboard to make things easier and give you a cleaner kind of overview of your website.